Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sumit Goyal and today I am going to tell you about the VisualForce flows, that what is a flow in VisualForce and how to create a flow or a VisualForce flow in Salesforce. So first of all, let's understand about the flow, that what are flows basically. So VisualForce Flows, it allows to automate business process by building application known as flows that collect, update, edit, and create Salesforce information. Flows can execute logic, interact with Salesforce database, and basically the elements, resources, and connectors, they are the building blocks of flows. Now, each element represents an action that the flow can execute, such as reading or writing Salesforce data, displaying information, and collecting data from flow users. Uh, so, each resources represents a value that you can reference to the flow, and flows can be run in the designer directly from a VisualForce page, or we can use the URL also. So basically there are two ways to execute the flows. First is the URL method, or second is we can embed the flow in a VisualForce page. And we can use flow to execute DML operations with your own objects, or execute more complex operations like posting by creating a new Apex class. And to create a VisualForce flow, we will be going to use the flow designer tool for creating flows, configure screens, and define branching logic without writing any code. So let's start creating a flow, and later on we'll be see that how to execute that flow, how to run that flow. So like as I told you, there are two ways to execute that flow. So I will be going to explain you both the ways. So first of all, let me log into my Salesforce. As you can see here, I have already logged into my Salesforce. Now what I wanted to do is I want to create a flow. So my scenario is I have to create a flow, and in that flow I want to save the record into account object. So let's see how to create a flow. So to creating a flow, what we have to do is we have to go to create workflows and flows. Click on this flows. So once you click on the flow, it will open a So basically, as you can see over here, VisualForce workflows lets you easily build and manage flows, and right. So now I wanted to create a new workflow over here, or new flows basically. So I click on new flow. It's opening right now. So maybe a question comes in your mind that why do we use flow? That we can create a VisualForce page, that why the flow is required. So basically, if there are people who are from non-programming backgrounds, they can also create a VisualForce page without writing any code, right? So they can take the help of flows, and they can create a VisualForce page easily without writing any code, and without or you can say this, they can create a page very easily, right? So I close this. Now I wanted to create a flow over here. So you can see this is the design window over here, or design section. So I wanted to create a flow. So you see we have a user interface. So I drag this screen over here and drop it here. Just drag and drop. Here we have to assign a name to this particular screen. So I give a name to this screen. Let's say screen 1. This is the unique name. Then I want to add a field. This will be my welcome message, or the first screen is my welcome screen. So I simply just drag and drop over here, display text. Select this display text and give a name over here, welcome. And here with the message or the text which I wanted to display in the display text field. So I write here, welcome to my first VisualForce flow page. Simple, and click on OK. So see, my first screen is ready. How easy to create a screen over here. Now I wanted to create a second screen, because in my second screen I am going to get the input from the user. So I drag and drop another screen 2, right? Add fields. Now I wanted to add fields. Now I want input boxes, so I drag a text box, 1, 2, 3 text boxes. First text box, label will be, this will be the label will be, let's say, account name. This is the unique name. If you want to assign any default value, you can add a default value over here. This is for make it mandatory. You can see over here while I'm checking this. When I check this, you can see a red line over here. That is for, it indicates that this is a mandatory field. Okay. Then select second text box. Here is phone. Third one is, let's say, fax, and click on OK. Now, when we execute our flow or when we run our flow, what it will do is it will show us the screen 1, then it will show a screen 2. In screen 2, we'll input the data. Once we input the data, what do we want is we want to save the data into account object. So to saving and data, so we have few data options over here: record create, record update, record lookup, record delete. Now I wanted to create a record, so I simply drag and drop record create. I assign a name to this. Let's say I use the same name, record create. Now, which object I want to associate with these fields over here, the fields we have created over here. There are 3 fields. One is account name, then we have account, then we have phone, then we have fax. So I want to associate those fields with the account object field. So from here I select standard object, account. This is basically, and in this account object, what are the fields? So I click over here, standard, and we can see all these are the account object fields over here. So first is name, and it is associated with my screen input field, account name, right? Then we have 3 fields basically: name, phone, and fax. So I'll go for the second one, standard, and here I choose phone. Screen input, basically input is for getting the data from the user, output is for displaying the value, right? Screen input and phone. Third one, add row again, and this is for fax. So I select over here fax, screen input field fax, and okay, this is basically, it's like a link up. So I have linked my fields which are in the flows to the fields which are in the account objects. So now they are associated to each other. Click on OK. Now once the record is saved, I want to show a thank you message also. So for here, I again go up and drag 4th screen, and this is, let's say, screen 3, and I want to add a text field over here, display text, drag it, select field settings, thanks, and I write here, thank you for creating a new record, and click on OK. So now the screens are ready. That's all I wanted to do is, but these screens are right now, they are independent. They are not connected to each other. So I wanted to put them in a flow, that which will be our first screen. Then if I'll do some action, so it will display the second screen, then third screen, like that. So this will be my first screen. After this, I want to show this. I want to go to second screen. So I simply, you see this diamond symbol. This diamond symbol basically it is for connectivity. So I will connect this to this page number 2. It is connected now. Then after page 2, on page 2, I want to run the record create data object over here. So I click connect to this one. So basically, what is the function for this record create? The function for this record create data set or data over here is to save the record into object. And after that, once the record is saved successfully, it will be going to display a thank you message or thank you screen. So I connected this to screen number 3. While executing this, you will not be able to see this part. You will be only able to see the screens. This is a background process. So this basically is a background process handled by the flows in Salesforce. And later on, right now, so my flow is ready. But now, when I execute the flow, which will be the first screen, or I can say that, for example, every website has a home page. So same here, every flow as a home screen or the first screen. So which will be our first screen over here? So what I wanted to show is I want this screen number 1 to be my first screen while executing a flow. So you see there is a symbol over here, icon over here, set as starts element. This is on every screen basically. So what I am going to do is I am going to click on this set as start element once, and now this screen 1 will be set as a starting screen. And what I am going to do is I am going to save this flow. What will be the name of the flow? So the name of the flow is, let's say, account or new account flow. This is the name of the flow, and click on OK. Now the flow is saved and ready to execute. Now, as I told you in the beginning that there are 2 ways to execute the flow. Number 1 is the URL method, and number 2 is the embed this flow in a VisualForce page. So I'm going to tell you both the ways. So let's see the number 1 step or number 1 way to execute this flow in the URL. So how to do that? What you have to do is you have to simply, first of all, what is the name? Name is new account flow. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to write flow and the name new account flow. And you see the flow is executed now, and we can see our first screen over here. This is our screen number 1, welcome message, welcome to my VisualForce Flow page. I click on next. When I click on next, it will take me to screen 2. In screen 2, I can enter the few data over here, account name, phone and fax. So I enter phone number, phone account name over here. Let's say TCS, phone number, fax number, click on next. Now if you remember, in between screen 2 and screen 3 there was a data flow over there. So that data flow will not going to be display over here. That is a background process. So when I click on next, what is doing, so it's loading. It means it is loading the data into the account object. So once the data is successfully saved or loaded into the account object, it will display the third screen, that is the thank you screen. And now if you want to go and check whether your data has been saved or not, so you can simply go to Salesforce and you can check it. So as you can see over here, I have clicked on accounts, then I can see the account name is TCS, which we entered over there. So this is the one way to execute the flow. Now I'm going to tell you the second way. What is the second way? The second way is to embed the flow into our VisualForce page. So for this, what we have to do is, first of all, we have to create a VisualForce page. So let me create a VisualForce page. In my previous videos, I have already explained how to create a VisualForce page. So let me go and create a VisualForce page, Apex and my flow page 1. Let's say my flow page 1. This is the name of my VisualForce page. Let's wait, because this page does not exist. I hope so. So this will display an error. As you can see here, the page does not exist, so it displays an error. So what I want to do is I want to create a page over here. So I click on create page, my flow page 1. So it will create the page over here. Now I click on this icon and remove the existing code over here and I want to execute my flow over here. So how to execute a flow? So to run a flow, what you have to write is, you have to write here flow. The syntax is flow colon interview, and name is equal to the name of the flow. The name of the flow is new account creation. Let's check the name of the flow. What is the name of the flow? Click on setup, create workflows, flows. Okay, so the name of the flow is new account flow. Basically not new account creation, it will be new account flow, and save the page. Once you save the page, if everything is okay, you can see that flow will execute over here. See this? It's executed over here. Welcome to my first VisualForce Flow page. Click on next. You can enter any detail over here. Let's say Lenovo, phone number, fax. Click on next. I'll got a thank you message over here. Click on finish, and it will again take me to the first page. Once I click on finish, basically it's in a loop, so it will again take me back to the first page. Now let's go and check whether the record has been created or not. So I click on account, and I can see the name over here, Lenovo. So like this, you can create a VisualForce flow in a Salesforce, and you can execute the flow. So that's all in my video. I hope you like this video, and I will be come up with some new more topics in my new videos. So till then, bye bye. Have a nice day.